Hi, and welcome. We're in the BCT studios, and we've got with us today the Ruigoord Rebels. And they're from Ruigoord, Netherlands. Have I said this correct, I hope?
Almost.
So far? Almost, okay, almost. And on my right over here at the end with the trumpet, this is Jeff Silvertrust. And then this is Pete Gagnepain.
Gagnepain? Yeah.
Gagnepain? I'm looking at my notes here. You'll
Yeah.
have that. You know, I don't know your name that well. I know your first name pretty well.
Yeah,
and then, of course, me and Dave. And then we've got Barbara Schroevers.
More or less.
I'm going to say Schroevers because
right.
we had this discussion earlier, and there is a bit of a language barrier. And then over here we've got Carlos Manso, which is the correct pronunciation.
That's good.
Americanized.
It's cool.
But it's good. It's cool. And so anyway, the Ruigoord Rebels have come all the way from the Netherlands,
actually.
over there in Holland someplace. That's how we look at it.
Exactly.
To perform, they came specifically to Bolingbrook to be on this TV show, and they're going to other parts unknown, I guess. So tell me, Barbara, where did you go last week? You were down in New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Yes. Yeah. And how was the trip?
I loved it.
You loved it. Okay.
Yeah, in Holland we don't have so much places to play. There's not so much live music going on, and there everything was just happening. In every bar you came was music, and there was lots of good music, and I loved it.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, tell me, are you from the area, or where do you live?
I live in Belgium at the moment, but I was born in Chicago.
You were born in Chicago, and you currently live in Belgium. I see. Do you spend most of your time in Europe?
Yeah, about 90%.
90% of your time, I see.
10% over here.
And are you well versed in all the languages over there?
Well, I speak a little bit of everything, but nothing too good except English.
That's great. That's wonderful. All right, now, Pete,
Yes.
how do you fit into this? Because I know you're not from the Netherlands.
No, I'm old friends with Jeff. We were on a record together. When I was a young man, I had a little...
When you was a young
band.
man, what was that, last week?
Yeah, right. No, like 19.
19, whole baby.
Yeah. Never.
And anytime you say 19, believe me, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was years ago. Anyway, we met on this record because his next door neighbor was a horn player, and he was in the band. He said, I got this friend, plays horn. So we got together. He was in Chicago, and man, he blew the whole studio away when he got up there and played his horn. It was just like, whoa, he took over the whole record. You know, it's like, oh, well, you know, I paid all this money for the studio, and it was like, oh man, this guy is good. Yeah.
Okay, so you live here in the States. You're not.
Yeah, I'm just a permanent plant in Plainfield, and I work for the Bolingbrook.
Okay, so your link is then through Jeff with this band. All right, now we've got that settled. I want to talk to Carlos here. Carlos, now tell me about yourself. You live in the Netherlands, right?
De Nederlander.
The Nederlander, okay. Yeah. And tell me about it.
Well, I'm born there.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Portugal. My parents are Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
They came from Portugal to Holland, and I was born in Amsterdam, and then I went to Portugal when I was 4. I came back when I was like 8, so I've been like there almost 5 years. Had to learn Dutch again, and that was really easy, and so I'm trilingual actually. So, and I've lived in Amsterdam ever since.
So are you a citizen of Amsterdam, but the Netherlands?
I have 2 nationalities.
I see.
2 passports.
Dual
yeah.
Citizenship. So you can go to South America whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
All right, well that's good, that's good. Okay, we've got that settled. Barbara, let's go back to you. You're the leader of this band, the Ruigoord Rebels. Ruigoord.
Ruigoord. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there. I knew I did it right.
Yeah, it's impossible to say for foreigners. I wanted to change it to Amsterdam Rebels because we're close to Amsterdam and everybody knows Amsterdam. So, but yeah, when we started, we never thought we would go traveling so much.
How would you describe your band and the music that you play?
Phew, that's difficult. We started then in this time with completely other people, and it has been changing all the time. And I started myself from a background of, like my father played Irish folk and this kind of music, and this is how I started. And these old hippie songs, Bob Dylan and whatever. And I played with a friend for 10 years, and he had another input. He was into blues and things like that. And so I started to change a bit. And then 5 years ago, I met Carlos, and he was a much more experienced musician than me. I was just a bit freaking out. And he had been in many bands, and he started to really teach me to go into one direction and to get kind of, yeah. And I said, I want to play this. No, no, no. And at first I was a bit like, yeah, he wants all kinds of things. But actually in the end I started to understand what he meant, and we started to get it together, and it was really nice.
She wanted to go all directions, like many different styles, and I was like, no, let's focus on a bit more, like a few styles, like 3 or 4 styles, and not go like all
everywhere.
Okay, what would those styles be?
Well, I would say it's more folk, blues, bluegrass, country.
And these old songs from the 30s.
Old songs from the 20s.
Yeah, the old jazz.
Old jazz, old songs from the 20s,
I
30s.
didn't dare to say jazz, because then they expect that I'm really good.
The old jazz.
Yeah, there are some expectations.
Yeah. But they're a bit jazzy.
Jazzy. Jazzy is good. Yeah, we are a bit jazzy. We jazz things up.
Yeah, and we have Jeff.
Oh, okay. Speaking of Jeff, yes, how would you describe it? Because now you've been playing for quite a few years as a professional musician then? Because I take it Barbara's